Welcome to Brush and Banter, the podcast where creativity meets real-life hustle.
Brought to you by Zibra, we go beyond perfect brushstrokes to explore the messy, magical, and meaningful side of being an artist.
I'm Brie Hansen, crafter at heart, creative cheerleader, and president of Zibra.
I'm Annie Bolding, muralist, designer, lover of all things that sparkle, and founder of It's a Disco Day Designs.
And I'm Lauren Cooper, muralist, designer, creative mama, and founder of Rosemont Lane Design Studio.
We're here to bring you conversations with working artists,
practical tips to grow your creative business,
and a built-in painting companion for your next project.
So grab your favorite Zebra brush,
pop in your headphones,
and let the banter begin. Hey friends, welcome back to Brush and Banter. I'm Annie and I'm here with my co-host Brie.
Hi everyone. Today's episode is one of those that digs into the layers of what it really means to be creative. The twists, the plots, the growth, and the moments that shape not just what we make, but who we become through it.
So today we're joined by Charlotte-based multidisciplinary artist and illustrator Kyle Mosher, known for his collage-inspired work that fuses fine art, culture, and digital design. So you've probably seen his pieces in collaborations with brands like Porsche, HBO, Dunkin, or Forbes, or maybe you know him through his creative platform, Paid For With Art.
Kyle's story bridges a lot of creative worlds, from studying fine art to working inside a corporate shoe brand and now running his own creative studio and preparing for a brand new chapter, fatherhood.
So we're going to be talking about the evolution of his artistry, what corporate life taught him about creative discipline, and how preparing for fatherhood is changing the way he defines success.
So Kyle, welcome to the show. We are so excited to have you.
That was, you went from this really polished like intro, and now you're going to open Pandora's box with me. Welcome.
You're our first in-studio guest. That's really exciting.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
We've been virtual with everyone else, so that's super exciting.
Awesome.
Welcome to the Charlotte studio.
Yeah, thank you.
Kyle and I go way back. Kyle was one of the first muralists that I ever visited on site and showed up, saw him create stuff, brought him some brushes. So it's cool to be talking to you today.
Thank you. You guys saved me when my van got broken into.
Oh, yes. You have bad luck with that.
Yeah, you guys were super kind and sent me a whole bunch of goodies to replace my brushes, and we've been rocking and rolling together ever since.
I know. I love it. I love it. You're so fun to go and visit. He's always doing so many cool projects that are all so different, and you're always so kind to let us come and crash anytime we text you.
That's a really nice way to say you're manic. You're running around like a crazy
That's
person.
not at all. I mean, I think you have to be a little manic when you're got so many different things going and so many deadlines. I mean, it'd make me crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot for sure.
So tell us about who you are, and for those who don't know you, about your work and how you define your style.
My name is Kyle Mosher. I'm a full-time working artist. I've been doing this for 13 years. Prior to having my own practice, I was in the agency life. First job I ever had outside of college was designing sneakers for Puma. I've owned a streetwear business on Newbury Street in Boston. Shout out Boston. We've done, early in those days, we did collaborations with like A$AP Rocky, Kendrick Lamar. So very early stages of those guys' careers. Virgil from Off-White used to come in all the time before he was Virgil, and it was just cool. And I've been doing it ever since. I eat, sleep, and breathe this. My full-time job.
I love it.
So obviously your work style is really distinct. You do a great job of blending like street art with fine art and collage design into your unique look. Was there a moment when that signature style really started to click for you, or was it more of like a kind of evolutionary thing?
It was a progression for sure. I have a fine art background, so I have a BFA, and I've studied in Italy, and I've done all the traditional academic stuff. But I'm also, I love fashion. I love streetwear. So it was always a culmination. I was doing paper for a really long time, and I made the switch from paper or paper-based art, like the illustration and collage stuff, into more of a vector-based illustrative type of design, flat edge. I made that pivot really like consciously 4 or 5 years ago because I wanted my mural stuff and my studio stuff were so different, and I wanted them to be more cohesive. And so it was definitely a conscious shift. Also, the trying to do like a collage style mural just was really difficult. It was time consuming. So I wanted to, simplify the colors, bring a lot of that stuff in, shout out if there's any art nerds on here, shout out Cezanne. He was a huge inspiration of just breaking down form and shape and then, making it flat colors. And so I was bringing a lot of that into that. But I mean, consciously, the pivot was probably 3 or 4 years ago. And then, paper I'd been doing for 15 years. Almost got kicked out of college because I went to a traditional fine art school. And they were like, stop doing paper. Paper's a joke.
You have obviously crossed so many different creative lanes. Everything you've just mentioned, murals, illustration, fine art, paper, brand collaborations. So when you zoom out, what do you feel like connects all of those pieces of your work and your story, Kyle's story?
I think everything has sort of a building block and like foundation off of each other. I didn't start making art like from an academic standpoint until I was 21 years old, meaning I was slightly better than maybe the average person, but I wasn't like some kind of art savant when I was a kid. But I was swayed in the direction of not doing art. I was, I'm from Canada, and everyone, like my family was like, go do sports, play hockey. And I was sort of groomed to be this hockey star. And I was like, but I'm sensitive. I want to make art. I don't want to fight people. But early on, the first thing I ever remember drawing was sneakers and jeans. Like I loved drawing sneakers and jeans. And I talk a lot about that. I just did a post about it on my Instagram about how, that's the very first thing I remember drawing. And so that sort of set the tone for everything else. And then I took that and I was going to liberal arts school, college to play hockey. I dropped out.
Oh, you were?
Yeah. I didn't tell my parents, dropped out. I was like, I'm done playing hockey. I'm going to go be an artist. You can imagine how that went over.
Yeah.
I went to a liberal arts school. I was playing hockey in college and just wasn't there for me. I decided that I wanted to live life on my own terms and took a community college drawing class. Walked in, was like, "Hey, what's up? I want to be an artist." Yeah, and then at like 21, 22 is when I started like more of the academic journey towards art and just went all in. Reading everything I get my hands on, drawing, studying like 10,000 years of art history and canon and foundation and color theory and name it.
That's awesome.
I don't even know what the original question is, but hopefully there's an answer in there.
What did you do when you were in Italy?
Oh, I did a lot of nude drawing, figure drawing naked people. Shout out.
Nice.
Like 6 hours a day of just nude drawing. And very humbling. You're like 12-year-old like art savants are next to you and they're drawing really well, and I'm just like.
I love it. How long were you there for?
I studied there for 6 months and then I didn't leave. And I was like, I'm just staying. Shout out. I was like, I'm just gonna stay.
Yeah.
So I ended up staying for like a year.
That's awesome. Why not?
Yeah, that scene in like Titanic when Leo's like smoking a cigarette and his hair's blowing and he's like drawing. I was like, that's how I pictured myself in Italy.
For that whole year.
Yeah. Like I took up smoking and I was just like the mysterious artist at cafes drawing people. And they were like, "You're drawing? Let me look." And they were like, "Oh, you are not Leonardo DiCaprio in Titanic."
I also just I can't get out of my head like the moments we all lost not being able to see you on a hockey screen in like a hockey fight.
Oh yeah.
I'm like really that part. I'm like, dang.
Oh yeah, we're gonna need some hockey B-roll to put up here.
Oh yeah. You want to see some frosted tips and a puka shell necklace?
Okay.
Yep.
Oh man,
I don't think Annie can see. Those are great.
Oh yeah, we'll get you those.
A little back on track. I am curious. Obviously, you've mentioned art school and that you studied and you just like threw yourself into being an artist and what that version meant for you. In those like early chapters where the dream was beginning, what parts of that education do you think you still carry with you today? And were there any points or moments that you had to unlearn once you actually got to the real world of being an artist?
I got so lucky. Just in terms of I had the best mentor ever. And her name was Lynn Pauley. She was the first woman who is the head of Pratt's illustration department in New York City. And she was just an absolute firecracker. I mean, you have to be as
Yeah.
like a woman in New York City in the art industry. She just took no shit from anybody. And she had a similar background. She was an athlete. She went to Syracuse. And she just, it was one of those things where it just felt very fortuitous. Like it was like two people who were meant to meet. I mean, I was so connected with her and her teachings, and you know, she had way more enemies than she did friends, but not because of like any sort of animosity or spitefulness that she carried, but it was just that she had that super strong, confident, take no shit woman attitude. And she was a big fish from Pratt into this small pond, which was New Hampshire Institute of Art and Sciences, which is a 150-year-old art conservatory in the middle of New Hampshire.
Wow.
The biggest thing she taught me was just be yourself, be authentic. And it's like, it's not about technical skills. It's like, have a perspective and have a voice, and always remain true to that. And it has, you know, very little to do with like academia and skill. And we were learning painting, sculpting, and drawing, like from a classical standpoint, color theory, composition, foundation classes, you know, 2D, 3D, all of those classes. And she was just like, let's throw it all out the window. And like, and she only lasted 2 years at that school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When she was out, it was like, I almost got kicked out. Like we were both just two bulls in a china shop in there. To answer your question, I mean, like a lot of the color theory, meat and potato stuff, like it's there, and the canon is there, and digging into the art history. And I think it's extremely important. I'm a traditionalist or a purist when it comes to the idea of, I think we should learn from the people that came before us. I don't think you could, my theory is I don't think you can ever find your voice as an artist until you find out who you are as a person first. And what do you love? Like, what's your perspective? What are you trying to say? When people come to me all the time, like, you know, when I was in North Wilkesboro, and there was an artist who was like showing me his portfolio, and it was like, look how good I am. I want to be your assistant. And I'm like, are you looking for me to tell you how good you are? Or do you need to feel you're good enough? Because you're clearly more talented than me. Like, you're incredible. Like, your art's incredible, right? But it's like, what is it that you are trying to say? Like, what's your perspective? What do you like want to create? What's inside of you, and how do you want to see the world around you? And I think that's the number one thing that I think you should distance yourself from when it comes to like academic art.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, like, as a muralist, like an artist, like that really resonates with me. And I'm sure our listeners too, who are creatives out there, like creating from what you're feeling is going to like exude how good you are, right? Like you're going to show up and people are going to be like, this is awesome, because you're creating what is inside. And that, like, I'm not articulating this well enough, but I love what you are saying with that.
No, well, I mean, the thing is, it sounds really corny, but it's like you are singular. Like, you are a singular, all of your experiences, even like your ancestors, your DNA, it's like there'll never be another you. And it's like, people, you know, that's fun that's like one of those things you see on like a Pinterest board, but it's really the truth. I mean, you are so singular in your existence and your experiences and your voice, and it's everything that makes up you. There'll never be another you. So when people come and they're like, look how good my art is, I'm like, you can render the world around you so incredibly well. But we have iPhones now, and I will take a picture, and it's just never going to be as good as an iPhone. So it's a party trick. And I don't mean that. I mean, I don't mean that to sound like, you know, I think people who can do hyperrealism are incredible. I can't do it. I mean, I'm not that talented, and that's great. But it's like again, we have cameras and we have iPhones. Like, what is it that you're trying to say? Be singular in your existence with your voice of creating, and that's where the magic is.
Yeah, I think that's true for all things, almost in life, because the more true you are to yourself, the better you're going to be at it too. Because it's what you know, it's what you are. It's your being. You
don't have to be anything but yourself. It's like when people are like, are you afraid someone's going to copy you? I'm like, have you met me? Like, I am just an amalgamation of things.
Okay, so often in your career and your journey as an artist, I think there's a shift that happens from when, kind of what you were saying, of when you're just creating and now you're all of a sudden like, oh wait, I'm actually running a business. People are paying me for this. I have to like manage books and a schedule. And so talk about that transition and what that moment is like when you kind of realize that in your
Yeah, I mean, it's terrifying. Hire people that are smarter than you and better than you at those things.
So true.
Shout out my CPA. He said, stop buying that $10 coffee.
Hold it up. It's here.
Shout out my oat milk cold brew. Yeah, it's terrifying. I mean, I've made every mistake that you could ever make as an artist, as a person, as running a business. I mean, for me, like, I have to make these mistakes. Like, I try to avoid them. Let's be clear.
Right.
Don't go off making mistakes like on purpose. Like, I try to avoid making mistakes. Trust me. I just know that I'm gonna mess things up. So it's like, I gotta learn. I gotta be able to look at that as information, right? Like, it's it's just information. It's like, okay, maybe the first time I ever got like a commission, I didn't realize that I was shipping it to Hawaii. You know, I was like, I didn't take into account shipping cost. Yeah, and then I had what was the other? Oh, I had a guy write me like a fraudulent check, and then they held me liable for it. So it was like $7,500. My bank was overdrawn. I was like, cool, cool. I wonder how many $400 paintings I have to sell to make up for this $7,500. Like, just stuff like that, where I'm like, looking back, I'm like, oh my God, Kyle, you big old idiot. But I think that's where, you know, having people, surrounding yourself with people that are smarter than you, which is not hard for me, but like, and being like, what should I do? How can I do this better? Being receptive to that information. And my assistant, Allie, who you've met, I mean, she's incredible. Like, she'll challenge me on stuff, but in a way that it's not coming from a place of ego. It's like genuinely like, you know, how do we make this mural better? How do we make this better for the client? How do we make this experience better for the client? And
as an artist, sometimes I'm like, I just want to paint the pretty pictures. Why do I have to do taxes? Why do I have to do these things? And some of the best advice I've been given is just like, the things that are slowing you down because you're afraid of messing up, outsource those things.
Yeah.
And account that when you're, you know, factoring in shipping costs and like, okay, shipping costs, but also I need to pay a CPA. I need to pay somebody to help schedule. Like, those are the things that, as an artist, like, if you can outsource those, like, it saves the space in your brain to continue being creative, which is important because that's the moneymaker.
Yeah, having that bandwidth to do other things is so important too. I mean, yeah, being present, that's another thing, just being present with the art, the creation, and just day-to-day life. It's like, if I find myself drifting to being like, oh, I gotta, you know, what's this contract look like? You know, you're not being present with, you know, that's another big thing too. It's like, running a business is knowing when to compartmentalize that. And when you have, like, you know, when you are an entrepreneur and you own your own business, it's hard to compartmentalize. Like, there are times where 2-3 in the morning you're working, and anybody who's a creative knows. And then there's times where you're a morning person and vice versa. So it's just, it's all part of the bigger picture of being a professional.
What's the biggest tip for running a small business that you have?
It's always been like a marathon, and I've been just very much a tortoise. Like, I've just been so slow and steady. You know, there's a saying, it's like, when you're chopping a tree down, you don't chop the tree in 1,000 different places one time. You chop it in one place 1,000 times. Just keep chopping the tree. Like, one.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, sometimes, and that's how the tree falls. Like, you know, it's just, and that's been it for me. It's like, I know when to pivot, when I need to pivot. I know when to stay focused and just keep doing the same thing. Like, some of the most successful things I've done haven't necessarily taken off until 5 years later. And I'm like, I told you guys, I told you so. But it's like, you guys are 5 years late. You're at the mercy of like things like the algorithm. You're at the mercy of like, you're competing with, you know, clickbait and politics and whatever now. And it's like, you know, sometimes what you're doing is just great. You're just, you know, it's just not there for you yet. And you just got to keep believing in yourself. And I think that's it. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. We got there. Thank you guys. Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, I think there's definitely higher highs and lower lows in a small business. I think that's one of the things I had to really get used to when I started working here. It's like, those bad days, they're really bad.
Oh, they are. They sure are.
And it affects you for more than just that one day. It's like, it carries on, and you just got to be like, okay, but there's going to be a high day in there soon, you know?
You know, I bought a house. It was like, I'm still not excited. Like, we signed the contract today.
He signed it today.
Yeah.
He closed on his house today.
Paid for it with art. I bought a house, and but I feel like I should be excited. Shout out SSRIs. Maybe that's just like keeping me like this has been sponsored by Prozac. I just don't get too high or too low about anything anymore. And I think that's just, years of just, you gotta just be so grounded.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had like,
So next time I'm having a bad day, I'll call you.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Next time you're having a bad day, you call me for sure.
He's just going to pull you right to baseline.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
It's all part of the bigger story. I mean, it's all part of the big, like the whole story,
Yeah.
It's like, this is just one chapter in the book, right? The chapter of like, whatever that may look like, the van getting broke into. It's like, we wouldn't have met.
True.
True. It's like, I'm such a believer in like synchronicities and like manifestation, and just like, again, it goes back to that thing I said about being singular in your existence. Like, it sounds so corny, but it's like, there's so much power in just figuring out, because there's one of two ways to look at it. It's like, is this going to break me, or do I keep moving forward? And it's like, you just got to keep moving forward. So what can we take from this that's going to just keep driving us forward?
You've been sharing a lot of these very, very good little aha golden nugget moments. And I'm curious, if you could go back and talk to younger self, maybe he was quitting hockey, what do you think that he needed to hear most out of all these little nuggets of wisdom that you've just shared?
What's so weird is like, I always wanted a mentor, or like, I've always wanted, and I had Lynn for sure, but I like always wanted someone to just be like, you're doing great, kid, like, just, and I never ever had that. So I had to always sort of like parent myself and like talk to my inner child. And I think I just listened to an Alan Watts. I love Alan Watts, like, but he talks about a lot about like the experiences that you have in your childhood really make up, who you are. And I think not having the most supportive background, and not having, I mean, I come from like 3 generations of farmers, like very blue collar, Canadian, and there just wasn't a lot. And then growing up in New England, it's a very blue collar city, just not a lot of opportunity at the time. And you're not it's not a hub. It wasn't, when I was there, it wasn't really a hub of culture. It was like, when we made the streetwear store, we were just a couple of crazy kids, and we sort of birthed that into reality. And it was like, we were crazy until we did it. And then it was like, oh yeah, this just belonged here all along. And a lot of not having that maybe person to be like, you're doing great, kid. Maybe was a lot of it was like, I had to dig really deep and then just be sort of like my own mentor and guidance. And the other side of that too is like, I never wanted to be someone who withheld that just because I didn't have it. So I always made sure to like, give back in some ways and try to provide, hey, this is what we can do. Like we did a lot of talks at like elementary schools and junior high schools and entrepreneur classes, and just being like, you can have a non-traditional career path, but like, don't get it twisted that it's like, it's a job. Right. And it's like, you have to treat it like a job. You have to eat, sleep, and breathe it. And it's in some ways harder than a normal job.
Right.
Like
for sure.
it's like, you can do it, absolutely, but just know that it's like, you're trading in a 9 to 5 to work 24/7.
Yeah.
Like for 13 years, 15 years, I mean, 13 years I've been a working full-time artist, but 15 years I've been in this total. And it's like, I'm just now like buying a house and having, my first child. It's like, I had to wait so long to do all of the things that my peers were doing and all the amount of weddings I went to. So it was like, a lot of that is just going back to just extreme amounts of belief in yourself and hard work.
Yeah. All right. You know what time it is. Don't cry over spilled paint.
Yeah, so this is the part of the show where we all collectively admit we've done some questionable things in the name of art, because let's be real, behind every glossy portfolio is at least one story that's a little less than picture perfect.
Exactly. This is where we celebrate the fails, the flops, and the what was I thinking moments, because perfection is definitely overrated.
Yes. And so this week's spilled paint I have from an anonymous artist. They wrote in and they said that they were hired to paint a bedroom wall through TaskRabbit, and it was a rush job, and the client said, I'm happy to pay for everything. And so the artist made the stencils, and it was going to be like this big like Louis Vuitton wall. Invested a lot of like time and money up front, basically. And the day that they were supposed to start, the client asked if she could get picked up from some appointment. And then they get to her place. She shows them like, okay, here's the room. This is where this is going to get done. And so he spends the whole first day painting this wall, getting everything ready, and then is like, hey, I have to come back and I've got to finish this tomorrow. And she's like, okay, sounds good. So he left all of his gear and like all the painting equipment there. And then on his drive home, he got an email and a notice that the request through TaskRabbit was fraudulent and that they canceled the thing and he wasn't going to get paid for the job. And he was like, okay, fine. Like, that's fine. But all of my stuff was left at this project. And he said it felt kind of sketchy that everything was a rush job and he should have listened to his gut. But in the end, he said that he finally got back in touch with the client and was able to get all of his stuff. But he was like, this is a lesson in listening to your gut. If it feels a little off, maybe just listen to that feeling, listen to that voice.
That is so scary, but glad that all worked out. Okay, I have also a story from Bethany of Riverbank Art Studio. We will play a clip of this actually happening in real time, but she sent this to me after we relaunched the podcast and we had announced the segment of Don't Cry Over Spilled Paint because she's like, I have the perfect story. Thank you, Nest Cam, she says, for the footage of this terrible moment. Purple paint splattered all over my mural and their new floors. 45 minutes later, the most intense upper body workout, everything was clean and the client had no idea, but instantly took to the cameras. And asterisk, she says, no tears were shed over the spilled paint, but just a lot of sweat. So we thought that was funny. And I don't think that the video could be any more perfect of the whole thing happening. So
it was so good. And like, I love that when the clients have the camera, they're like, we got the receipts.
Yeah.
We're pulling this up. Well, keep sending us these stories. They make us all feel very seen as artists. So DM us anytime at Zibra Painting or tag your story with hashtag spilled paint story. You never know. We might just share it on the next episode of the pod.
Okay, your XO logo has become such a recognizable part of your brand. Tell us about the story behind it and what it means.
There was a cartoon, the old Felix the Cat cartoon from the 1950s, and he had a handbag. And I guess it was like a rip on like a Louis Vuitton bag because it had an XO pattern on it. But it wasn't like an actual XO. Lauren, pull it up. It was like a bold XO pattern. Like almost like
okay.
It looked like that. And it was it was just like a pattern on his handbag. And I was using a lot of like pop culture based stuff in my art as texture. I love the merging together of like graphic imagery and then recognizable imagery and maybe some stuff that was like nostalgic. And vintage cartoons was like, I was doing a lot of that stuff. So I had used this pattern, this XO pattern as like a texture, a background in a lot of my paintings when I was doing studio based stuff. And I hated the idea of signing like a big dumb signature. Like I just was like, this ruins the art for me.
Yeah.
It was more just like, I love graphic imagery. And like that was my design sort of background coming in. It's like, it just was something really cool. I liked merchandising and creating products. And that was like where I was bringing in a lot of, because my work really is the merging of traditional and commercial. I just started using the XO. It was very primitive when I started it. And then I just refined it into an accent. The logo that it is now. And
I love it. That's a cool story.
Yeah. So that's,
and it's so you.
Yeah.
A little offshoot from hearing about the signature story, which you definitely downplayed. That is a very fun story. And
I know.
I'm happy we know now the origin of it because a signature is more than just a name for sure. But I'm curious to kind of jump over. So you've also built Paid For with Art into your business, not just as like its own shop, but as a part of the entire creative ecosystem. So how does that arm of your brand fit into the bigger picture? And do those like sales or collaborations play an important role in the way that you structure your business overall?
It started as like, again, just like anything, everything was really organic. And we were, at the time, I had an assistant, like apprentice who's in my apartment. And the entire experience I had in that apartment was paid for through a mural deal. It was a business structure, but I had structured this to live in South End for 2 years for free. And,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I structured it with an apartment complex and they paid me. So it was like double dipping.
Wow, that's a
Yeah,
win.
and I ended up doing like 10 murals in one neighborhood.
Where?
Wow.
Are they
Great.
still there?
Yeah, they're all still there. They're over by Highwire and
Okay.
Spenga.
Oh yeah.
That whole neighborhood. So that whole neighborhood was owned by a company at the time called Ram Realty.
Okay.
And the guy, shout out Michael, I forget your last name, but you're so important in my life. Michael was from Miami. He was from Wynwood, or he had lived in Wynwood,
okay.
and he knew the power of murals. And he was like, we want to do, because at the time, this area was considered old for South End,
Okay, yeah.
aka it's like 3 years old, which is like ancient in South End times. So they wanted to like refresh the building. And I was like, let's just, we started with one mural, and I was like, man, we can take this and, we can really build out something special here. So I was like, I created this business model to be like an artist in residence at this apartment complex. And I was like, let me live here, give me your social media, and give me a tiny mic and just let me create traction for your brand. And we built this whole experience with residents around this idea of art. And we were the title back, like we were doing like the social takeovers, and we were doing all the murals on the complex. We were doing events. I mean, it was just like huge things that we were doing. And it was a 2-year program. And at the time I remember sitting in my apartment, and it was like, I was like, everything in here is paid for with art. Like it kind of like, and I think I was just on one of my soapbox moments where I was just like being like, trying to hype myself up. Probably.
You had the mic.
Yeah, I had the tiny mic, and I was just like, everything in here is paid for with art. And it was organic, and I'm building it. It's been built into like, obviously apparel as the vehicle for it, but really a community. And it's something that it means the world to me. It's like, there's so much that I want to do with it, and I want to do obviously collaborations. I want to feature other artists. I want to turn it into a 501c. I want to, have, the sky's the limit for that. I think the XO Kyle Mosher brand is very, you got to have a very intimate relationship with me and my work to really like, to sort of buy into that, whereas the paid for with art stuff can be, it's a rallying cry for all artists of all mediums across all platforms to just be like, this is my life, and I deserve to get paid for it. I deserve to eat, sleep and breathe it. It's a career. It's very real. And channeling all of that energy that I had to sort of put into myself, coming up and being my own mentor and having my own back. And, I sort of wanted that to be paid for with art. I want people to own it and be proud of it. And it's not, I may be the one who sort of am the catalyst and start it, but it belongs to the community. It belongs to everybody. And that's what I want to build with it.
You talked about like, these collaborations down the road. What would be like some of your dream collabs?
Oh my God. Well, we're blacklisting BMW on record. I was a BMW owner forever. I loved you guys. I wanted to do your art cars, and now I'm a Porsche guy. So BMW is great. They have an incredible like art subsidiary that they didn't consider me for. I mean, a lot of these brands have really good art subsidiaries. Porsche, BMW, they realize that art is, artists are the new athletes. So there's so much marketing dollars and values that can go into art, and you can see it. I mean, it's palpable. Artists have agents and all of these things now. And I think like the ones that are doing it correctly and staying true to the artist are brands like BMW and Porsche, where it's not just slapping their logo on something. It's like they make it a full immersive experience, which is so important for collaborations, is to get it right. It shouldn't just be like, our brand value is $1 billion. That means we can just slap our logo onto one of your paintings. It's like, no, that you see now. When I was at Puma, it was like changing the logo was the biggest no-no in any brand. It was like, you do not, here are our brand guidelines. Right. And now you see artists like Travis Scott with Nike, and he's turning the logo upside down and flipping it around. And then you see all of these artists that are taking liberties with the logo. And that's the way a collaboration should be. It should be, the artist should be allowed to come in and make it theirs. Right. And, so, Nike, shout out, love to do one with Nike. Porsche has Type 7, which is a really great subsidiary that they have, that they do collaborations with like architects and like obviously artists, and they like build whole houses around this idea of like, what does it mean with Porsche? What would Porsche look like as a house? And then they hired architecture, and it was like
that's cool.
just really creative things. So forward-thinking brands, somewhere in there's an answer.
Quick break to spread a little holiday cheer because Zibra's holiday shop is officially open.
Yes, it's the season of gifting, creating, and maybe treating yourself to a new brush because let's be honest, you've earned it.
This year's holiday shop is packed with limited edition brush bundles curated for every kind of creative, pro painters, muralists, DIYers, and furniture flippers.
Yes, they're beautiful, practical, and the kind of gift that actually gets used. Plus, you'll save 10% instantly when you bundle and an extra 10% off when you use our code BANTER10.
Whether you're shopping for your favorite artist or building your own creative wish list, these bundles are only around for this season and they are going to go fast.
So make sure to head to enjoyzebra.com to shop the holiday collection, and don't forget to use our code BANTER10 at checkout for that extra dose of merry and bright.
Your future self and your next project will thank you.
Well, Kyle, you've got a big life shift ahead. You've been dropping it a few times now, but you're about to become a dad. Woo!
Shout out. Can't wait.
Big
I'm so
congrats.
excited.
Shout out,
A girl
shout out
dad,
to the
too.
baby.
A girl dad, the best there is.
Girl dad.
Yeah.
So tell us about her nursery. Are you going to have a mural in there?
That's
Are you
the
gonna paint
number
it?
one question I get. I'm going, if you guys want to, I'm going to go with a warm mauve in
Warm
taupe.
mauve.
Just
Do
very
you have
classical.
a color picked out? Are you going to throw us a color name?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I have two picked out. Yeah, it's going to be
Okay.
two-tone mauve taupe.
Ooh, I like
Just
that.
really like, I'm not going to make it like pink. Girly.
No. Well, yeah.
Yeah, she's going to be a classical mauve taupe girly. And then until she's not, then she's probably going to be like her dad and just be a terror and want to wear black all the time. And I love architecture and obviously fashion and art. So I have a theme. I have a Pinterest board going.
Ooh,
Yes.
it's going to be so cool. I can't wait to see.
Yeah. I'm really excited, obviously. Her name is Murphy.
That's amazing.
I love her name. He told me.
Yeah. If you guys have ever seen Interstellar.
I haven't.
Yes, Murph.
Yeah, Murph. And yeah, the meme. She's going to be a meme. She doesn't even know what a meme is yet. And she's going to be a meme. So Murphy Jane, MJ.
MJ. So cute. Okay, so to end on, what's one lesson or value from your creative journey that you hope your future daughter will learn from you?
Ooh, I think just like believing in yourself and resiliency are the two biggest things I hope to pass on. I mean, it is so incredibly hard to do something you love, and everything will feel like it's going against you. Like at any moment, I mean, you really have to fight and you really have to believe in yourself. And I think that no matter what she does, like the two biggest joys you can get out of life are fulfillment, like, and then peace. It's like peace and fulfillment are so important. And it's like, you find one, you just find peace in your existence and your journey and be still. And that's the first thing you've checked off, no matter what. Like if whatever's going on around you is you just can keep that sort of like stillness inside of you. And then the resilience is just be like, I believe in this. I believe in myself. No one else can see this, but I see it. And then the amount of gratitude that you get when you check off those boxes and people are like, oh man, like that's what you were doing. Oh, I get it now. And it's like, man, I've been doing this for 15 years. Like, and everything I've ever said I was going to do, I've done. It's like, you'd think, they would get the hint by now, but I hope she gets that part of me.
Oh, you're going to be phenomenal. If anything, extremely fun, and probably will be great at embarrassing her in front of her friends. You're just going to walk around saying dirty dad stuff. So at the very least, she's going to have a good laugh.
Yeah.
Okay, it's time for one of our favorite parts of the show, the golden moment. Woo!
Okay, so we ask each guest to share something that felt golden about your weeks. Not perfect, but it was just something meaningful.
I bought a house today.
I know. I feel like we already covered
I
that.
closed on a house today, which is the ultimate paid for with art moment. It just feels surreal. I haven't even digested it. And the fact that like my daughter and now my dog get a place to like call their own. And I have an art studio now and a backyard and a shed.
A shed.
A he shed.
All dads need sheds.
Oh, gotta have a good shed. Yeah, and that I mean, I don't know if you can really top
I don't
that.
think you can top that. This is perfect time. I love that. It's a great golden moment. Kyle, thank you so much for being here. You are truly an inspiration to the entire artist world and all of small business owners everywhere.
I don't think that I have smiled this long.
When you did this, I was like, yep,
My
that's exactly
cheeks
what I'm
hurt
feeling.
from just laughing. So thank you so much. You've been such a fun guest, and your story is just a good reminder for all the creatives out there to keep chipping away at the tree and just staying persistent, and slow and steady wins the race.
Kyle, tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
On Instagram at the Kyle Mosher, TheKyleMosher, Kyle Mosher, and then KyleMosher.com. And then you can put my name in the internet, find me. There's
Good
a missing
old Google?
good old Google for people that are, millennials.
Great. So don't forget to connect with Kyle on Instagram and tag us in your latest project. We can't wait to see what you're working on at Zibra Painting.
Also, now we're into the holidays, so don't forget to check out the holiday shop at enjoyzebra.com, because those holiday bundles are not going to be around forever.
We'll be back soon with more brush and banter. Until then, keep building, keep creating, and don't cry over spilled paint.
Oh, that's cute.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Brush and Banter podcast, brought to you by Zibra. We're so grateful you're a part of the creative community. Gearing up for your next project? Head to enjoyzebra.com to grab your new favorite brushes, designed for comfort, precision, and serious creative flow. Be sure to follow Zibra Painting on Instagram for painting tips, artist features, and more. If you enjoyed our banter, subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to leave a 5-star rating and review. Now, go make something beautiful. We'll be here when you need a little banter.